Think American cars are all about big engines and straight-line speed? Think again. These 8 machines didn't stop at horsepower. They went full mad scientist. From space-age gadgets to drag-strip lunacy, these cars are what happens when engineers have too much coffee and not enough adult supervision. Buckle up. This is overkill, American style. Number 8. Launched in the mid-2000s, the XLRV was Cadillac's high-tech, high-performance answer to the Mercedes SL and Jaguar XK. Built on the same Y platform as the Corvette C6, it shared the Corvette's DNA, but added a whole bunch of luxury, electronics, and ambition. Probably too much of all three. Under the XLRV's sculpted hood lived a hand-built 4.4-liter supercharged Northstar V8 making 443 horsepower. That may not sound wild today, but in 2006, it was Cadillac's most powerful engine ever. It also came with rear-wheel drive, a 6-speed automatic, and magnetic ride control. GM's trick suspension system that read the road 1,000 times per second and adjusted the shocks faster than you could say, "Wait, this thing's a Cadillac?" But oh, the tech. This wasn't just a car. It was a mobile electronics laboratory. Touchscreen navigation, adaptive cruise control, head-up display, keyless ignition, and radar-based obstacle detection were all part of the package. It even had a power-retractable hardtop that folded away with ballet-like precision, assuming it didn't break, which, let's just say it was finicky. The XLRV was like your super-talented friend who's also kind of high-maintenance. Cadillac tried to cram a sports car, luxury roadster, and spaceship into one car, then priced it higher than a Corvette Z06. It was niche, complex, and brilliant in a wonderfully over-the-top way. Number 7. Tesla's Model X brought Silicon Valley extravagance to the SUV, most notably with its infamous falcon wing doors, an overcomplicated solution to the mundane task of entering a car. Elon Musk himself admitted the Model X was over-engineered to the point of being a production nightmare in its early days. These doors didn't just open up. They performed a mechanical ballet using double-hinged actuators and ultrasonic sensors to avoid hitting nearby cars, garage ceilings, or unsuspecting birds. Were they cool? Absolutely. Were they over-engineered? Like asking if space shuttles are a little complicated. These doors were so complex, early buyers could watch them open, make a sandwich, and still have time to watch them finish opening. Car owners constantly have trouble with this door scene, such as false sensor warnings even without obvious obstructions. Doors often stop mid-cycle or refuse to fully latch. In some cases, they hit ceilings or adjacent cars. Ignoring these silly mistakes, this door is truly a great design. Number 6. If you want a car that can run a sub-9-second quarter-mile straight from the factory, you're going to need some seriously over-the-top engineering. Enter the Dodge Challenger SRT Demon 170. Sure, it may look like an old-school muscle car, but underneath, it's a full-blown tech marvel. One standout feature is Dodge's patent-pending TransBrake 2.0, which includes torque-shaping technology typically reserved for high-level drag racing. This system allows drivers to preset torque limits for smoother, more controlled launches, bringing race day tech to everyday hands. The Demon 170 also holds the title of being the first factory production car to come equipped with staggered drag radial tires and fender flares, straight off the showroom floor. It even features aerospace-grade high-strength steel studs with steel cylinder head inserts, because apparently regular bolts just couldn't handle the fury. All of this mad science paid off with an NHRA-certified 8.91-second quarter mile, making the Demon 170 the first mass-produced car to break into the 8s. Number 5. In the early 80s, Cadillac had a problem. The oil crisis had made giant V8-powered land yachts look about as practical as a gold-plated jet ski. But instead of shrinking the car, Cadillac decided to shrink the engine, on demand. Enter the 1981 Fleetwood V864, a monument to over-engineering that tried to save fuel by literally shutting off parts of the engine while you drove. Yes, this 6-liter V8 had a brain. A primitive, 1981 brain. Cadillac's idea was ambitious. Under light load, the engine would deactivate 2 or 4 cylinders to become a V6, or even a V4. Cadillac claimed the cylinder deactivation system could save gas without sacrificing smoothness, but let's be honest, it still drank fuel like it was preparing for a cross-country bourbon run. In practice, the early computer couldn't keep up, and the cylinder deactivation system was about as reliable as a dial-up internet connection in a thunderstorm. The system constantly misfired, confused the transmission, and made the car feel like it had a hangover. Dealerships eventually started disabling the system entirely just to keep angry owners from throwing their cigars at the service desk. Number 4. Born from the wild minds at Hennessy Performance in Texas, the Venom GT isn't just over-engineered, it's a high-speed fever dream that looks at speed limits and laughs maniacally. Hennessy took the lightweight chassis of the Lotus Exige, a small, nimble British sports car, and crammed in a twin-turbocharged 7-liter V8 producing 1,244 horsepower. That's over 5 times the power the Exige was ever designed for. It's like putting a Saturn V rocket engine in a go-kart. The result? A top speed of 270.49 miles per hour, which briefly made it the fastest production car in the world. At that point, you're not driving, you're teleporting. It's packed with clever engineering to somehow keep all that fury on the road. Active Aero helps keep it planted, and a programmable traction control system tries its best to keep you from recreating a Michael Bay explosion every time you touch the throttle. There's also a manual transmission. Yes, a 6-speed manual, because apparently Hennessy wanted drivers to feel like gods and gladiators. The Hennessy Venom GT is over-engineering at its most unhinged. It took the phrase, "go big or go home," and answered, "Why not both?" at 270 miles per hour. Number 3. Long before Bugattis were flexing in Monaco and Lamborghinis were roaring through Beverly Hills, there was the Duesenberg Model SJ, a rolling monument to American excess that basically invented the phrase, "over the top." The SJ came with a supercharged 6.9-liter straight-8 engine pumping out a mind-boggling 320 horsepower. That might not sound like much by modern standards, until you remember this was during the Great Depression. Most people were lucky to afford gas, let alone a car that could hit 140 miles per hour in an era when the average car wheezed along at 50. But the madness didn't stop at the engine. The Model SJ was over-engineered to near-mythical levels. It had dual overhead cams. It had a supercharger. It had brakes that were hydraulic and servo-assisted, which was practically sci-fi at the time. Then there was the coachwork. Duesenberg sold bare chassis and let customers go nuts with custom bodies by designers like Murphy, Derham, and Fagoni et Falaschi. No two were quite alike, and only 36 SJs were ever built. Number 2. The Tucker 48 was the brainchild of Preston Tucker, a man who looked at the big 3 automakers and said, "Hold my cigar." His goal? Build the safest, fastest, and most high-tech car in America. The result? A sedan so over-engineered, it could make German engineers sweat. Let's start with the engine. Tucker couldn't find a suitable one, so he bought an aircraft engine company. Yes, aircraft. The 5.5-liter flat 6 originally powered a helicopter. It had fuel injection and was rear-mounted, unusual for a sedan, like a Porsche with a mullet. Since the engine didn't need a clutch, it used a semi-automatic transmission called the Tucker Y1, which was about as reliable as a politician's promise. The centerpiece was the Cyclops Eye, a third headlight that turned with the steering wheel to light up corners. It was like giving your car a built-in owl. Safety was everything. The windshield popped out during a crash to avoid slicing passengers, and the dashboard was padded before airbags were cool. The front passenger even had a crash chamber, which sounds like a medieval torture device, but was actually a safer footwell. Tucker didn't just want to make a better car. He wanted to reinvent the car entirely, from drivetrain to dashboard. Unfortunately, innovation is expensive, and only 51 Tuckers were ever built before legal battles and financial woes shut the dream down. Number 1. Built between 1989 and 1993 by Vector Aeromotive Corporation, the W8 doesn't resemble anything else on the road because it was never meant to. Its wedge-shaped jet fighter profile was crafted from aerospace-grade aluminum honeycomb and carbon fiber. You know, just in case you accidentally took a ramp and hit Mach 1. Underneath that angular madness was a twin-turbo 6-liter Rodec V8 pushing out a claimed 625 horsepower, though insiders whispered it could make over 1,000 horsepower with the boost cranked up. The W8's interior looked like it was stolen from the Starship Enterprise. There was a full digital dash in 1990, buttons galore, a computer-controlled HVAC system, and even aircraft-grade toggle switches. Vector didn't build a driver's seat. They installed a command module. But here's the kicker. All of this over-engineering didn't always, work. The car was so complex that it often spent more time in garages than on roads. Testers reported erratic performance, glitches, and a learning curve that made piloting a space shuttle look easy. And yet, the Vector W8 is still legendary. Only 17 production units were made, making it rarer than unicorn tears.